taken your place on this team. But God chose that this be your season to glorify Him with your body through sports. If you clothe yourself with the humility that such a service requires, you shall be able to resist the pride that comes with such an opportunity, and we all know what pride can do to us. It simply brings us down.
Uganda will at the Olympics that start on 26 July till 11th August be represented by 25 athletes. These include 21 runners led by team captain Joshua Cheptegei and include cyclists Charles Kajimu, rower Kathleen Noble, and 2 swimmers Jesus Semonzi and Gloria Musito. At the last Olympics, Uganda won 4 medals, including 2 gold, a silver and bronze, while the proud East African nation has garnered 11 medals since its first Olympics in 1956.
Meanwhile, the Prime Minister Robinah Nabbanja has informed global leaders that Uganda, through extensive national and sub-national consultations, has developed 6 strategic commitments to accelerate the implementation of sustainable development goals. Nabbanja was addressing a high-level political forum during the 11th meeting at the United Nations headquarters in New York.
Nabbanja stated that government will integrate the commitments into the 4th National Development Plan 2025-2030, which aligns with the conclusion of the SDGs in 2030, enhance national and local financing mechanisms, strengthen partnerships for localized SDG efforts, including citizen participation, and fortify the national statistical systems.
Looking ahead, Uganda remains resolute in 1. Identifying synergies among SDGs, 2. Leveraging technological innovation, 3. Value addition in the vast tourism, mineral and agricultural endowments through fostering partnerships and regional cooperation.
Together with the Minister of Justice for Constitutional Affairs, Norbert Mao, and the Chairperson, Uganda Planning Authority, Professor Pamela Mbabazi, Nabbanja addressed all the issues raised by different countries. She informed world leaders about Uganda's mechanisms to tackle adverse weather and climate challenges.
Uganda has a Climate Change Act and a climate change policy which provide direction to all sectors that are affected by climate change. The interventions include early warning systems, resettlement of disaster-prone communities, wetland restoration, and tree planting, and this is ongoing. Uganda has prioritized the agro-industrialization programs for increased production, productivity through mechanization and irrigation, value addition, marketing, and strengthening food systems, which are core to addressing hunger.
Justice Minister Norbert Mao responded to concerns on civic space raised by civil society organizations. He explained that Uganda is governed under the Constitution.
First and foremost, these civil society organizations are largely led by Ugandans. So their rights are embedded in the Constitution, and they exercise those rights as citizens.
Earlier, the Prime Minister made a statement on behalf of the G77, assuring world leaders of the commitment to attain the SDGs.
It stresses the importance of fully implementing the Secretary General's proposal for the SDG stimulus for developing countries to tackle the high cost of debt and rising risks of debt distress.
Nabbanja affirmed that G77 China will support all efforts aimed at achieving the 2030 agenda.
The Group of 77 and China emphasizes that we must prioritize advancing the full implementation of the 2030 agenda by translating the commitments agreed upon during the 2023 SDG Summit Political Declaration into concrete actions that fully support developing countries in their efforts to achieve the SDGs.
The Prime Minister also held bilateral talks with the President of the United Nations General Assembly.
The last one.
And government has presented a plan to enact a comprehensive land law to regulate and reduce land evictions. This will include the amendment of the Land Act, in which government seeks to capitalize the land fund. Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Dr. Chris Baryomunsi, communicated cabinet resolutions reached out during the Chankwanzi retreat.
The retreat at Chankwanzi by members of the executive was centered on deliberating matters of national importance. Matters of land, especially grabbing and evictions, were some of the most prominent issues on the agenda.
And through the 1900 agreement, as you all recall from your primary and secondary school history lessons, that agreement resulted or created the Mile land system. And actually when we talk of land evictions, land grabbing, the question of land, it largely rotates around the Mile land, which is mainly here in central Uganda, which was a creation of the colonial administration.
A resolution to amend the Land Act to address land-related setbacks was reached during the cabinet retreat.
We resolved to enact a comprehensive law regarding land evictions. Yes, we have laws, but we are going to study these laws, look at where the gaps are, and come up with a comprehensive law on the issue of land evictions. We are also going to amend the existing Land Act to provide for an option of the Vibanja owners, the tenants, to pay the nominal rent, the busuru, to the sub-county.
In doing so, this will sterilize land controversies as a breeding ground for corruption, which has become synonymous with some public offices in Uganda.
It is evidence that many people have been charged, prosecuted, including high-profile officials in this country. So the situation that because there is a renewed fight, therefore government has just woken up, is not correct. Government has been on the alert in the fight against corruption, but there is an observation that there is a growing tendency of indiscipline and impunity in the public service and the visible elements of corruption. So we had an extensive discussion over this issue.
Baryomunsi revealed plans to support the Inspectorate of Government to probe people's lifestyles.
We are going to strengthen these agencies and empower them, support them to be able to do their work effectively. We also resolved to introduce the practice of name and shame of the corrupt and expeditiously prosecute whoever is accused of corruption, particularly once there is evidence. So we shall be now publishing names, the name and shame of those who are engaged in corruption, irrespective of the position that you hold in society.
The week-long cabinet retreat was presided over by the President of Uganda, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Matters related to taxation, budget financing, and resource mobilization were also discussed, concluded, and adopted. Henry Okrut, UBC.
His Excellency Paul Kagame is set to be declared for another term as President of Rwanda. Kagame garnered 99.15% of the votes in the peaceful voting exercise. Let's take a look.
Talking to the natives
As to why they chose Kagame, they said that they had chosen to re-elect Kagame for rebuilding the country in the aftermath of the 1994 genocide by prioritizing development and putting in place effective social services. Kagame was running against two other candidates, Frank Habineza and Philip Mpayimana, who also challenged him at the last polls in 2017. Paul Kagame is set for a fourth term as the electoral authorities declared him as the winner of the Rwanda presidential election after garnering 99.15% of the votes. Kagame has won more than 93% of the vote at each of the three previous elections.
You voted well. I want to thank you all for those who managed to come through in the diaspora. All countrymen, thank you for the sacrifice that were made together with the youth. Thank you all for the love.
With the supporters seen chanting and rejoicing for victory, Kagame is credited for rebuilding the country after the 1994 Rwanda genocide.
You see the progress this country has achieved by the leader who's in charge. We wish that whoever is elected should not destroy what has been achieved, but to continue it.
The youth make up most Rwandans. We want the person who will be elected to set up projects that help the youth get jobs, because most of them are completely unemployed.
Kagame was running against two other candidates, Frank Habineza and Philip Mpayimana, who also challenged him at the last polls in 2017. The others that were asked why they chose Kagame, they said they had chosen to re-elect him for rebuilding the country, prioritizing development, working on the health sector and the education sector. More than 9 million Rwandans were called to vote for the new president on Monday, and according to official results, more than 99% of them supported the incumbent Paul Kagame for a fourth term. The two opposing candidates, Frank Habineza, the leader of the Democratic Green Party, looked to set claim of 0.53% of votes compared to 0.48% in 2017. Philip Mpayimana, an independent, was on track for a 0.32% according to early projections.
While Kenyan police fired tear gas to disperse hundreds of protesters in Nairobi city, demonstrators led by activists called for a total shutdown of the country to keep pressure on President William Ruto despite his recent concessions. The protests, which began over tax hikes, have become the biggest crisis of Ruto's 2 years in power, with the youth protesters calling for his resignation over misgovernance, corruption, and the deaths of dozens of protesters during early rallies. Secretary to the Treasury, Ramadhan Gobi, has released the first quarter funds for the financial year 2024-25 to various government institutions. 5.89 trillion shillings has been released to various entities to facilitate government operations.
The discretionary budget for this financial year is 27.67 trillion shillings, with 5.899 trillion shillings released for the first quarter. 8 trillion is expected from development partners.
Some of the key highlights of the release per category in this quarter include 1.990 trillion shillings to cater for wages, 323.50 billion shillings for pension and gratuity, 308.75 billion shillings to local governments, including capitation grants, 95.26 billion to all public universities, 43.77 billion for examination bodies, 100.58 billion for all missions abroad, 124.63 billion shillings to the National Council of Sports. Parliament has been allocated 153.60 billion shillings, among others. Gobi provided an overview of the current economic state, noting that Uganda's economy has experienced a robust recovery. The gross domestic product growth for financial year 2023 to 24 was recorded at 6%, a significant increase from the previous average of 4%.
This impressive growth, on account of higher growth in all sectors, can be attributed to, number one, the service sector, which grew by 6.6%, up from 5.9% the previous year, while industry grew by 5.8%, up from 4% the previous year.
Starting this fiscal year, government will prioritize agro-industry, tourism, mineral development, and science for strong economic development. Civil society representatives called on the ministry to explain the execution of the 72 trillion shillings budget, particularly in planning for the increased population, estimated at 46 million people.
Are we prepared to provide funding for the 11.3 million people whom the census, the UBOS has, the numbers that UBOS has provided, or you need to make some changes in the budget to cater for these extra millions of people that have been put in place?
The fight against corruption. We are glad and we are happy with what we are seeing, but we hope that this does not repeat in this financial year. That this time around, moving into this financial year, that the cases of corruption that we'll be having are the cases from the previous financial years.
Addressing concerns about domestic debt, Gobi assured those in attendance that the approach is now more sustainable and expressed confidence in the substantial budget, urging Ugandans not to worry. Wadulo Mark Arnold, UBC News.
And with that, we take a quick break. When we return, more details.
The Uganda National Oil Company, UNOC, is wholly owned by the Government of Uganda and was established to safeguard and promote Uganda's commercial interests in the petroleum sector. UNOC has two subsidiaries, the Uganda Refinery Holding Company, URHC, which will hold a 40% stake in the 60,000 barrel per day refinery and manage the development of Kabalega Industrial Park, and the National Pipeline Company Limited, NPC, in charge of pipelines, storage, and downstream business ventures. This subsidiary holds 15% interest in the East African Crude Oil Pipeline, EACOP. EACOP is a 1,445-kilometer long pipeline that will transport crude oil through 10 districts in Uganda to the port of Tanga in Tanzania. UNOC is also actively engaged in crude oil exploration, development, and production activities, and its participation role includes a 15% stake in the Tilenga, Nwoya, and Bulisa, and Kingfisher development projects, Chikure. UNOC also holds the exploration license for Kasuruban Block in Hoima, Bulisa, and Masindi. UNOC currently owns and manages the Ginger Storage Terminal and will build a 320 million litre capacity terminal in MPG called the Kampala Storage Terminal. At UNOC, we're harnessing the potential of Uganda's petroleum resources, forging a sustainable future and preserving the natural beauty of Uganda. UNOC, your partner in Uganda's oil and gas industry.
Amanya gange nze Namutebi Sharon nga nkolera wano wennyini Saka Kirombe oba Makindye. Empangula gye nawanguddemu ssente mbadde nga nkozesa mobile money nga nsindika school fees w'omwana ku ssomero. Okutegeera nti mpangudde, nze mutima neegambye nti kambalinde bamale okujja ndyoke nzikirize nti mpangudde. Kyenyinza okubagamba nti si byabafere weewaawo abafere gye bali naye ennamba eri emu yokka era bw'eba ekukubidde omanye eyo si yabafere. Mpulira bulungi nnyo era ndi musanyufu nnyo. Naye MTN Mobile Money mbebaza nnyo mwebale nnyo mwebalire.
Together we're unstoppable.
Once upon a time, there lived identical twins who gave birth to beautiful princes and princesses.
Their mothers gave their babies' bodies a lot of care by applying on their skin with Baby Junior jelly.
Though dried their chariots and everyone would admire their glowing skin. Fun fact, Baby Junior prevents diaper rash, dry and sensitive skin.
Moms all over Africa love Baby Junior jelly. Baby Junior's the skin. No more worries anymore. Baby Junior.
Baby Junior.
Welcome back. You are still watching News Tonight. Residents living along Port Bell Road and Spring Road in Nakawa Division, Kampala District, are complaining the road is characterized by a lot of dust. In response to this, KCCA ED David Chitaka revealed that the contractor quoted an abnormal low bid, not well mobilized in terms of equipment and human resource.
Zhejiang Communications Construction Group Company, ZCC, was contracted to reconstruct the 10.01 kilometer of Port Bell and Spring Roads, including signalization of 5 junctions in Nakawa Division. These works cost Kampala Capital City Authority KCCA and African Development Bank over 138 billion shillings. David Chitaka, the Deputy Executive Director, Kampala Capital City Authority, says the works are at 17%, which is below KCCA expectation.
The challenge has been that the contractor is not well mobilized. Mobilized in terms of equipment, in terms of human resources. Of course, as a result of having quoted an abnormally low bid. However, we're pushing hard to make sure that he gets the right staff who have the right competencies on the job and also the right equipment. And we're seeing a turnaround.
Now Terega Florence, a vendor of Jaka fruit, claims to be affected by the low progress of the construction, claiming that the dust hinders customer turn up.
Ekkubo lino twalisanyukira nnyo nga lizze naye ate litukosezaamu ebintu bingi ebyenjawulo bye nnali ntundanga wano naye ebintu byonna sikyabitunda ndiizi akwata enfuufu gundi emiyembe byonna bikwata enfuufu ku mmeeza sikyabireeta enfuufu bw'ebeera kwenfunyeemu okuba lwe baalutandika tetulina paakingi bakasoma tebakyagula obwana bange tebusomera kusoma bwe buzibu bwenfunye bana bange tebasoma ennyumba etuuka n'emmanjibwa nga sina nazisasula ate nga nfuba okutegeka nasale yange enyirire.
Ekkubo lyo libadde likoleddwako naye nga kwegamba omulimu gutambudde gusoobamuko.
Residents wish for the speedy construction of the road to minimize public inconvenience.
Why do you think that the cost of doing roads in Rwanda is a bit low than here? What went wrong? So there is a missing link which the President of the Republic of Uganda need him solve, fix.
Abo kale n'aligambye nti baluddeluddemu naye ate era okulwa teyali badde ensonga naye ate mu mbeera emu oba endala baba balina okwekenneenya embeera yonna gye batambula nayo.
Wafuna kasitoma omutuusa mu tawuni atuuka ddugadde
ebinnya byo tebatufuddeeko ebinnya biri awo ebbali ogenda n'oyisa ekimotoka kyagala kusuula mu mwala ebinnya byo bitufuukidde ebinnya.
Of this same road, ZCCC, they must be having night working permits. Networking permits in a way that they can still work day and at night. So we are wondering why they only chose to work during the day.
Kampala Capital City Authority staff have been deployed to facilitate the contractor's progress.
The contractor is contractually obliged to implement dust suppression measures on the road during the day, especially to make sure businesses and people living by the roadside don't suffer dust. And I know there is no case of such nature where our staff have requested money from the contractor. What I know is that contractor gave an abnormally low bid. The price is abnormally low. And from that, he cannot even subcontract. He has to do the work himself. Because even the local contractors cannot work at the rates he priced.
Robert Katamba, Alijamiru Sekaja, UBC News.
And Machindia Utilities and Wildlife Court has charged and remanded 7 Chinese investors to Luzera government prison until the 30th of July. In court, the 7 Chinese nationals attached to Double Q Company were charged with 1 count of disturbing Luera wetland by dredging, an offence they all pleaded not guilty.
7 Chinese nationals attached to Double Q Company, who were arrested by the Environment Protection Police last week, have appeared before Machindia Utilities and Wildlife Magistrates Court to answer charges. The Magistrate Gladys Kamasany charged the 7 investors with 1 count of disturbing a wetland by drilling.
On the 8th day of July 2024, 8th of July, at a place called Kamwanga Village, that is located in Magazi, Chizungu Parish, that you disturbed a wetland called Ruela Wetland, in a manner that is likely to have an adverse effect on the wetland, and that while you did all that, you did not have written approval from the relevant lead agency, which is the National Environment Management Authority.
All the accused pleaded not guilty to the alleged offence.
That you each deny the charge.
They were charged under Section 55, subsection 1 and 6 of the National Environment Act Cap 181. Prosecution led by Judith Nyamweza told court that inquiries into the case are ongoing.
The inquiries are complete. However, we are working to have them completed as soon as. How long do you think it will take you? 2 weeks.
Through their lawyer Davis Kaluhanga, the accused wanted to apply for bail but had no sureties.
We had arranged sureties who can speak Chinese so that they can always appeal to them to attend court, but the documents we received them late. They came when court had already started. The hearing will be determined when we receive the documents from the state attorney, from the prosecutors. Once they are complete with their investigations, then once they give us those documents, then we shall be able to prepare for the trial.
Magistrate Gladys Kamasany remanded the accused until 30th July 2024, when they will appear for bail. The 7 Chinese nations attached to Double Q Company and Alwela Sun Miners were arrested in Rela on 8th July 2024. 13 trucks and 4 excavators were also impounded. Deborah Namamonde, UBC News.
Meanwhile, Ray Kerim, a Turkish national, together with his employee Eric Avunalo, have been found guilty of destroying part of Ruajali wetland in Mukono district by depositing maram on 2.1 acres without approval by NEMA. Ray Kerim, who is the managing director for Yaman International Limited Mukono, will either face a 5-year jail term or a 200 million pay fine, while Eric Avunalo has been cautioned. The two were charged by Machindia Utilities and Wildlife Court.
60-year-old Kerim Ray, Turkish nation and managing director of Yemen International Limited, located in Mukono, and Eric Avunalo, a Ugandan nation, have appeared before Machindia Utilities and Wildlife Magistrates Court that were guilty of 2 counts of depositing maram in a wetland and failure to comply with the NEMA certificate of approval. They appeared in court for sentencing at the Utilities and Wildlife Magistrates Court, presided over by Magistrate Gladys Kamasany. The two committed the offences on 30th June 2024 in Gogombe Village, Seta Parish, Goma Division, in Mukono District. Magistrate Gladys Kamasanyu sentenced Karim Ray to a 5-year jail term with an alternative of 200 million per fine.
Karim Ray, the first convict, is sentenced to a fine of 150 million Uganda shillings only. On count 2, for the offence of depositing maram in Rajali wetland, Karim Ray, the first convict, is sentenced to a fine of 50 million Uganda shillings only. If he serves the custodial sentence, the period that the convict has spent on remand should be deducted from his sentences.
In addition to the sentence, court ordered Karim Ray to restore the degraded part of Rajali wetland.
This will be done under the inspection of the National Environment Management Authority, NEMA. The restoration process should be done within 30 days from today.
Court record shows that Karim Ray was permitted by NEMA to carry out his project on 0.4 acres, but he breached the contract and degraded over 2.1 acres of the wetland. Court also sentenced Erica Vunayo to a caution since he was following instructions from his boss Karim. During the session, Magistrate Gladys Kamasanyu noted that the country has had severe climate change effects due to destruction of wetlands. Section 55 1 and 6 of the NEMA Act states that a person who contravenes Section 6 commits an offence and is liable on conviction to a fine not exceeding 600 million shillings or imprisonment not exceeding 12 years or both. Deborah Namamonde, UBC News.
Away from court, the program for the pre-activities to commemorate the 31 years of Kabaka Ronald Muwenda Mutebi II on the throne has been released. Chairperson Organizing Committee Dr. Anthony Wamala says there will be prayers in all worshipping places on specific days, and main prayers will be held at Namirembe Cathedral on the 31st of July this year. He adds that currently the Kabaka is still out of the country and unless otherwise will not be attending the main celebrations.
On 31st July every year, Buganda Kingdom commemorates the coronation of Kabaka Ronald Muwenda Mutebi II. This year marks 31 years since he was enthroned in 1993. Buganda Kingdom has released a program and pre-activities ahead of coronation on 31st July 2024. According to the Chairperson Organizing Committee, also the Minister for Culture, Heritage and Security, Dr. Anthony Wamala, prayers will be conducted in worshipping places on specific days and special service at Namirembe Cathedral.
We will conduct prayers in various churches of all faiths across the kingdom. On the 31st of July, we shall have a special service at St. Paul's Cathedral Church, Namirembe. The people of Buganda are encouraged to take time, reflect on the theme, and take actions that strengthen unity in the community. Parents and teachers are encouraged to teach and preach to the children about unity so that they may grow up with this special trait that is critical for our collective development as a nation.
Minister Wamala also stated that currently Kabaka is still out of the country and is likely not to attend the celebrations.
We cannot speculate. We are not going to say that the Kabaka is there. We are all aware that the Kabaka is out of the country. But if by any chance is around and chooses to be there, we shall go with that accordingly.
This year's coronation is under the theme, "Our unity is the strength of our monarchy." Meanwhile, the Katikkiro of Buganda, Charles Peter Mayiga, has advised youth to conceive the ideas to generate money. Mayiga was visiting stores of youth from different counties of Buganda that have showcased their products at an event held at Ibulange Mengo.
If you want money, think of an idea that can generate the money. That means think of something that is in demand, something that can satisfy a need, most importantly in the area where you stay. Learn that idea, be good at that idea, be an expert. If you don't know how that idea works, you will never be able to generate reasonable income out of it because you don't know it. Learn the idea.
He cautioned them to work with integrity and be transparent to harvest fruits in this world.
Transparency is key. Be honest. Be reliable. Your customers, the people you serve, should be able to rely on what you tell them. Because you're a man, you're a woman of integrity. That is important, because when you do not have integrity, people don't trust you. They can't entrust you with their money. They can't entrust you with their orders for whatever they may need. You have to be a person of integrity. You must be transparent. You must be resilient. You must never give up. Work hard. Work tirelessly. Don't give up. Be patient. It's only those who are patient that eventually accumulate money. There is no way you can be rich within a short time. Money follows hard work, and hard work brings you profits after a long time. So we encourage young people to be resilient, to be tenacious.
Youth from different Buganda counties have exhibited their products made from here. Mary Namkose, Andrew Sebida, UBC News.
And police is stressing the movements of Mr. Keshab, who was robbed by unknown persons riding on motorcycles at Esso Corner in Kampala. Keshab was attacked while riding on a motorcycle at midday. His laptop valued at 2.2 million shillings and cash was stolen.
That occurred on the 15th July 2024 at approximately 12 p.m. at Esso Corner in Kampala City. The victim, who has been identified as Mr. Joshi Keshab, 32-year-old Indian national and tour and travel company operator based at Crown House, Kampala Road, reported the incident to Kuruma Road Police Station. The CCTV footage shows Mr. Keshab on the motorcycle carrying a bag when he was cornered by several riders due to heavy traffic. The assailants proceeded to beat and rob him. The stolen items include a laptop valued at TGX 2.2 million, cash amounting to 150,000, and an EcoBank debit card, plus keys. Fortunately, Mr. Keshab sustained only minor injuries. A team of investigators is diligently tracing Mr. Keshab's movement from the start to his journey. From the start of his journey to the location of the incident. Numerous clues have been gathered to aid in the ongoing efforts to apprehend the suspects involved in this crime. Further details will be availed as soon as possible.
All right, and now in business news, the Minister of State for Industry and Cooperatives, Wilson Mbadi, has commended cooperatives for the role they play in socio-economic transformation of the country. He was speaking to the media on the forthcoming Cooperatives Day celebrations that will take place on the 20th of July in Bukumansimbi district. Mbadi says in recognition of the role cooperatives play in poverty eradication, government has sought to create an enabling environment for cooperatives to develop and thrive.
Government will commission the Uganda Federation of Community Cooperatives during the commemoration of the World Cooperative celebrations starting 17th to 19th July. Minister of State for Trade, General Wilson Mbadi, acknowledged the role cooperatives play in contributing to the socio-economic transformation of Uganda.
As you are aware, government has formed a MIOGA and has recently the parish development model along the cooperative setup.
The minister highlighted that cooperatives are essential in creating employment, investment opportunities, including enabling growth.
Cooperatives provide employment, they provide investment opportunities, they are providing collaborative growth, even distribution of wealth, and standard and quality production. They are the easiest forms of business to form because they are democratic in nature and are focused on delivering their mission to the members.
Mbadi reveals that cooperatives increased from 5,452 in 1986 to 45,452 to date.
In Uganda, cooperatives have not only increased tremendously, but are now engaged in diversified sectors like savings and credit. You know about very many circles have been formed, border circles, teachers circles, soldiers circles. You know, soldiers have the biggest circle in Uganda. There was Alendo.
This year's cooperatives celebrations will be held on 20th July 2024 in Ukoma Simbi district under a theme, Cooperatives Build a Better Future for All. Jane Nguramjisha reporting for UBC.
And the Commissioner, Ministry of Gender, Mujuni Bernard, says government will develop frameworks to accommodate innovative ideas that enable the youth create employment. The Commissioner represented State Minister for Youth and Children Affairs, Balam Bargahara, at the Skills for the Future Symposium 2024.
The 2024 Skills for Future Symposium aims to enable young people tap into the various innovative ideas so as to create solutions and drive them to self-employment.
This is the time when you need to come up with your own solutions. And this is the time when we want to sit back and listen to your solutions.
Represented by the Commission Agenda, State Minister, Youth and Children Affairs, Balam Bargahara, highlighted youth tapping into innovative ideas for the 21st century.
People in Uganda are growing up in a transforming world, which is the reality facing all of us, including technology, migration, climate change, and rapidly changing job markets, shaping the future and the society.
He urged the youth to develop innovative ideas that compete at international level.
We need to look at the term skills with a renewed perspective in the changing dynamic world. We need to look for skills that not only are needed today but even for the future, to tap Africa's great potential and resources and add value to the products.
However, stakeholders cite challenges that hinder such ideas reaching their first anniversary.
We must make sure that young people, when they come up with the startups, survive beyond the first, second, third, fourth birthday to become more sustainable.
What does the youth need in the 21st is integration of all the skills, both soft and hard skills. And whoever is multi-skilled will survive.
Some youth that exhibited in this initiative gave insight in some of the developed ideas.
How to value our management, waste management, whereby we recycle food to get maggots. Those maggots can feed fish, cow, and pests as well. You can decide to feed your fish with a fresh one or dried one.
Teaching them about baristing courses, how to do the cappuccinos, the Americanos, and how to make other coffee products from coffee itself as residue.
Make a liquid soap, how to make oils for hair. So all these products we make, the fruits we are available in Najd Valley. Also,
the Skills for the Future Symposium 2024 was marked under the theme Young People Navigate the 21st Century. Lydia Chomkama and Joseph Muyingo, UBC News.
Under Minister of Education.
Meanwhile, 10 schools in Kampala metropolitan area have cleaned up Kampala city markets to maintain proper hygiene and sanitation. The students' patriots teamed up with Kampala City Council and teachers to clean up Owino Market and nearby places.
It is over 10 years since government introduced the Patriotism Secretariat and Patriotism Clubs in schools to train learners love their country. Many schools in Kampala have such clubs, which are enabling patriotism learners participate in activities of loving the nation. 10 schools patriots, together with KCCA and teachers, have participated in maintaining proper hygiene in Owino Market, among other places in Kampala. The in-charge patriotism schools in Kampala, Hanifa Mukasa, says this is part of their responsibility to encourage students involved in activities of preserving the environment, maintain proper hygiene and fight corruption.
Today we had community outreach, community work. We had to clean St. Valley Kudeme Market and several schools in Kampala Central under the umbrella of patriotism gathered at St. Valley Kudeme, and we cleaned the market.
Teachers and patriots commended President Museveni for this vision of patriotism.
The campaign is continuing. Even today, after here, we are going back to our schools again to plant school trees. We organized and prepared a number of nursery seeds for these trees, and they are there. Long live NRM.
The purpose of this is to teach our children to love their country by participating in such activities of ensuring that there is hygiene in places like markets.
Plan to clean ourselves in order to make our community clean. Because if we make a company, we can clean our community.
We have learned that hygiene is an important activity, an important thing in the environment.
The schools that participated in the exercise include Old Kampala, City High SSS, Kololo SSS, among others. I'm Nafka Farida and Salongo Kasbante.
This is an old story.
Predict the outcome of 10 football games and win big with tickets at only 500 shillings. Play for this Friday's draw to stand a chance to win big with Sports Stake 10.
Buy your tickets at authorized shops on nationallottery.go.ug to download the app or simply dial *278#.
Ugandan National Lottery. Dream, play, win.
Participants must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The Uganda National Lottery is operated by Ituba Uganda and regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board.
Hi, my name is Rachel Nduhutiri and I am a Ugandan actress and the winner of the Africa Monologue Challenge 2023. Now, thanks to your immense support, the Africa Monologue Challenge Season 2 is coming to Uganda between July 25th and August 20th. Africa Monologue Challenge is looking for passionate Ugandan storytellers to take part in a Pan-African short film that will showcase Uganda to the rest of the world. To be a part of this, all you have to do is weave a captivating narrative that captures Uganda's cultural heritage while fostering connections between 10 diverse individuals from 10 African countries. This short film will be shared to over 50 film festivals. Now, to find information on the AMC 2024 finalists, visit www.africamonologue.com. Please submit your short script, which should be 10 pages for a short film between 10 to 15 minutes, to africamonologue@gmail.com before 30th June 2024. Now, let's talk about rewards. The selected script will have the writer's full name in the end credits. You will get a chance to collaborate with amazing filmmakers from all over the world. You will get a small token for your creativity, and you remain with full ownership of your script. Let's work together to create a Pan-African film that will echo African stories throughout the world.
Gold. We all want it. That's soft yellow glow of a subdued sun in your hands. That precious polish of elegance. To hold it is one thing, but to taste it is everything else. Relish the satisfying taste of a beer, unmatched in quality, unmatched in consistency, and with 23 Global Gold Awards. A beer unmatched in gold.
Welcome back. And now in sports, an international swimming teachers training, particularly earmarked for school swim teachers, clubs, water safety advocates and open water swim teachers, has entered day 2 at Georgina Gardens in Kampala.
For the first time in the history of Uganda's swimming, an international swim teachers training for school teachers has entered day 2 at Georgina Gardens in Lubia, a Kampala capital city suburb.
We're going to empower them with the skills to help train hundreds, if not thousands of children on how to be safe in the water. So this is the first STA-approved course in history happening here in Uganda, and the energy and the enthusiasm and the knowledge I've seen already from the Ugandan people has been amazing. The hospitality has also been incredible as well.
The training is achieved in partnership with Swimming Teachers Association UK and Life Saving Association Uganda, and is for 26 local clubs, schools and private instructors. The main facilitator is Adam Knight, who prides in 13 years of training swimming teachers around the world.
As part of this 5-day course, we're going to teach our teachers about freestyle, backstroke, breaststroke and butterfly. And every day we have over 100 children coming here for free swimming lessons.
During the course of this training, the teachers will not only benefit pertinent skills that will enable Uganda not only improve its swimming quality, but also reduce drowning carnage in the water.
We are trying to train the teachers on how to teach children and make sure they have life skills and prevent drowning, because drowning is one of the biggest problems for the young ones from 1 age to 4 and from 14 to 35 in terms of their swimming activity. So this course is going to bring a lot of wealth in terms of skills and knowledge to do good to swimming, survival swimming, and also to empower the young ones to swim up to Olympics, up to survival in the legs in case they have an accident. So this course is benefiting the country in terms of increasing our swimming teachers. It is the first of its kind when you don't have a swimming teacher qualified with an international certificate.
This Kampala training will climax on Saturday with an open water training, after which the trainers will proceed to Kabale to benefit locals there in swimming and safety.
Well, that does it for News Tonight. Thank you for sticking with us for now. We do return at 10 o'clock with more details. Elizabeth Nakakuni on Sign Language. I am Rhoda Ngozi.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Predict the outcome of 10 football games and win big with tickets at only 500 shillings. Play for this Friday's draw to stand a chance to win big with Sports Stake 10.
Buy your tickets at authorized shops on nationallottery.go.ug to download the app or simply dial *278#.
Ugandan National Lottery. Dream, play, win.
Participants must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The Uganda National Lottery is operated by Ituba Uganda and regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board.
Shocking statistics on road crashes in Uganda show that there were over 23,608 road accidents in a single year, 2023. This highlights an increase of 16% compared to the previous year. The Uganda Traffic and Road Safety Report of 2023 also shows that there were 24,728 casualties from road crashes, with 4,806 people dead, 16,736 seriously injured, and 3,186 escaping with minor injuries. The rampant increase in the number of road crashes and casualties in Uganda is seriously alarming. According to Uganda Police Traffic Report, 80% of road crashes in Uganda are as a result of speeding, reckless driving, and violation of traffic rules and regulations. Your life and that of other road users matters. Every life taken or injured in a road crash is an emotional loss to a family, resource loss to a business, development contribution loss to a community, and a socio-economic loss to the nation. Join hands together to reduce and, if possible, eliminate road crashes from our roads by avoiding reckless driving, obeying traffic signs and rules, and maintaining public safety intelligence to keep ourselves, passengers and other road users safe at every time. Remember, drive safe today to live again tomorrow. Tofira kukubo.
Nyati Motion Pictures brings you the long walk to freedom of the emergent kingdoms of Bunyala, Buruli and Koki that were once tributary counties of Bunyoro and later Buganda